Imagine this. It's late in the game. The crowd is buzzing. You step up. You are saying you're confident, but then that swing that you got going on, it hesitates. Your shot, even though you are confident, it doesn't look right. It doesn't feel tight. It's not good. It's not loose. A coach, a teammate, or even a parent watching from the stands really kind of can see. They can see this split second of doubt. It's that unspoken hesitation. Now, this episode is going to be for those moments when your mind, you think, oh yeah, we're ready, but then your body reveals the true truth. When confidence isn't just a mindset, it is actually a full body commitment, and that is where the real game changer comes to be identifying what is actually holding us back so then we can fix it and actually be confident. Hey y'all, welcome to the Mental Performance Playbook, where we are breaking down elite mental strategies and delivering them in actionable exercises for us to apply immediately. My name is Gabe Rummel, mental performance coach, founder of The Athlete's Health, and creator of its Phronoic Gym, our performance institute, where we are training your mind just like we train your body. Now, each week we focus on a mental performance theme that equips the athletes, the coaches, the parents with these practical tools to build the stronger focus, resilience, confidence, composure. And this week's theme is identifying those hidden barriers for the confidence. So without further ado, let's dive into identifying hidden barriers to confidence, or as I put it on the wall in the back, acting confident versus being confident. We're going to walk through our main three pillars of clarity, confidence, and composure, not in that order, and a little extra sauce as well. So then we can really breed our confidence and bring it out and actually be confident instead of just acting confident. And then when the moment comes, be squashed down, because it is very important to act confident. Fake it till you make it. I fully do believe in this phrase, and there is a lot of science to back it up. But there comes a point when all that acting only does so much, and then you're put on stage and you can't just act because everything blows up in your face. Therefore, we need to make sure that we can actually be confident in those moments and not just act. So we're going to walk through these exercises, put some questions behind it, put some narration behind it, talk about some athletes that either I've worked with or I've heard stories from, so then we can learn from those examples and elevate our own game. The first thing I want us to think about are our actions actually aligned with what we say we believe? And let me explain this one for you from a story. Actually, back in college, when I was talking to some people that I knew, where a softball player told me they were confident at the plate, right? But then this was before I was really doing this. This was when I was just like thinking about wanting to do this, right? And we were going through it, but we looked at the swing mechanics under pressure. We looked at some of the games where they were playing, and the posture, the timing told a different story than what they were telling me that they thought at the actual plate, right? They thought, and we were talking that they were confident at the plate. But when we actually go and review it and look at it, we can see that, okay, that form, that swing is looking differently. And this is why I call this a mirror check. Because we can get wrapped up in our heads. There's this book called The Inner Game of Tennis or something, where there's two thoughts of our head. There's the brain, I think they call it brain one, where you're actually thinking about the mechanics. I was playing basketball this morning and I'm thinking about my shot, or thinking about a layup, and thinking about my free throw. And then there's the brain two that actually just goes out there and goes through the fluid movement of it without thinking. And so in this example of the softball player that I was talking to, brain one thought thought they were confident at the plate or was trying to tell themselves that, but there was a hidden message. There was a hidden piece that was saying, no, you're not. This is not working. And it was showing up when it actually mattered with the posture, with the timing of the swinging. So if we want to do this, one of the best ways, this is why I call it the mirror check. And this is to get clear not only on what we're trying to do, but on how we're actually doing it, and to improve the confidence and to stay composed, is to record ourselves during a game or a practice, right? Replay it and observe of what you're actually looking, right? That posture, the pacing. If you're hesitating, are you looking confident? You can even just ask a coach or a teammate for some honest feedback in what you are doing and how it is working. Right? If we can align our self perception with these actual performance cues, it is a great goal to strive for. So, what we actually feel and think of ourselves with not the end actual performance, but with what can guide our performance, we can know then that we are stepping ourselves up for success because we can follow those steps that lead to the performance, right? Those cues for it. Maybe it is a reset. Maybe it's a way to breed that confidence here. But it starts with first looking in the mirror, seeing if you're thinking one thing and actually doing the other thing. And if we don't have a mirror, I love to use our phones as mirrors and see what we are looking for. Moving on to exercise 2, I want us to think about where and when do we feel confident, and where and when do we just fake it? Okay, this is what we're going to call the confidence audit for our exercise. And it comes around, a thought that like a high school quarterback, when I was researching some stuff, and who I've known some that do this, like they might trust their long throws. Like, I got the long ball, man. Like, I'll lob it up there, and I know it's, for some reason I can just do it. But it's when it came to the short game, right? The quick darts, I was rattling them. They just, it was, precision. It's not throw it up there when the speed demon on the wide out is going to run down and get it. It's got to be precise. It's got to be accurate. And this is looking more in the confidence, auditing it, seeing where specifically we're doing it. So then we can actually be confident instead of just acting confident. And we can make sure we're striving for that success, right? And if we want to do this, rate the confidence from 1 to 10 in different game situations, in different parts of the game, right? You got your free throws, you got the defense, you got the serving under pressure. Those are cross different sports, but you can break down your specific sport into the pieces of it, right? You got stats for your sport, boom. You can break down your confidence per each stat. When we do this, we can allow ourselves to identify the weak spots, just like this quarterback was identifying that he felt good with the long balls, but it was the short game, the precision, the Tom Brady type that he wanted and needed to work on, that was rattling him and rattling the game as he's a quarterback. Everything's on his back for the game, So if we can identify these spots, then we can have the goal of targeting those specific areas that really do need those mental reps and need more of the mental reps, right? This quarterback doesn't really need the long ball reps, and he's still getting them. But what he needs to look at more mentally and physically are the short game, right? So then that mental game of it can become confident, and he can execute and have his confidence audit pass and succeed and level up and put that one through the shredder and then use a new one or keep it for the record so we know where we're going. Now we're going to get back to clarity here for a minute, but we're going to look at it in a different way. And this is about clarity on our intentions of performance. So I ask, do you have clarity on your intentions of performance? And this is going to be called the clarity map. But I want to talk about some soccer players that I knew that we were talking about this, right? Key passes. Obviously, passing is an important part of soccer. And these soccer players were missing some key passes, and it doesn't help that they were the midfielders, right? So you do a lot of passing there. But when we dove deeper, we were a little unsure of or unclear of what success for her looked at in her role. And this is where the clarity map comes in, or having the clear intentions of your specific performance of what you're wanting to do, right? You have kind of the spot, your designated spot, whatever it is that you're supposed to be on the team right now. Maybe it's from a water bottle filler to bench player to starter to the MVP. You have your specific role, your specific objectives, and your specific performance. But sometimes it gets overlooked by just the sheer mass of the game or the performance that we don't look at the individual characteristics that can guide us into what we are trying to do. And this, tied with the other ones, are where that kind of subconscious or unconscious piece can come from, where we're not identifying these pieces subconsciously or unconsciously, we're going to hold our own selves back because we're not clear, we're not confident, we're just acting because we're thinking, I think this is what I need to do. We don't have the sheer measurable. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to use the exercises for this clarity map of breaking down the performance into the roles and objectives, right? If you're in this spot, if you're in this position, this is what we want to do. Write down what success can look like in that spot. Maybe we're going to start it a little small, or we start like the untouchable 100% success rate, right? But then we break that down into the steps of the next game or what we've already been doing because we've probably already had some success in that role if that's the role that we are at. Even if it's the water boy, you got some success in filling up the waters and passing it to the teammates, and then your team can make it to state or whatever else the case is. And so to have this clarity map, we need to lay out the pieces that we are trying to reach. So we have the clear map, so we have the clear intentions in our performance of what we're trying to reach. The clarity builds the confidence, and that is our goal. Unclear goals lead to that mental fog, to those mental ghosts huddling over us and holding us back. So clarity builds the confidence, and that is what we are making with this clarity map to ensure that we are not like this midfield soccer player who wasn't really sure on what they were doing with their key passes because unclear about what the actual role is that they want to do. And lastly here, I just have a overall thought audit. This is for our confidence, this is our composure, and it's actually our confidence versus composure. And this comes back, and I want you to think about, what do you actually believe about yourself in the high pressure moments? And the example is, I know a few wrestlers who, and they're some of the best that I know, and they say they feel calm during pre-match, right? But then you can watch them, and that's just what they'll tell you, and they don't know that you can read body language, and you can see what they're actually thinking before the game, and you can see that the breathing, the pacing, in a monologue, which you can see someone do if you kind of know what you're looking for. All that says otherwise, regardless of what the end outcome is when they step on the mat. I know you're not feeling as cool, calm, and collected going into it, but a little more nervous. And everyone has the butterflies. Everyone gets a little nervous going in, but there is a difference from having the nerves eat at you and the nerves fuel you. Okay. And a couple different ways to do this, right? Journaling, I call it reflective exercises, right? Right. Looking back and seeing how we can get stronger is one of these things that I want us to think about here. Where three thoughts that we've had before performance, right? Because a lot of the times, like, we have so many thoughts that happen, brain gets so distracted that we don't even notice them all the time. So if we can just start by reflectively thinking back of, okay, what are some of the thoughts that I actually have before my performance, and especially before the high performing or high pressure moments? And think about these. All right, are these thoughts helping me? Am I going to go out there and kill that other person? Am I going to go out there and win and succeed? Or am I going to go out there and thinking, oh, this guy's big? Or like, oh, this big stage, like a little more fear-based, right? Are they motivating, empowering thoughts that actually have us believing in ourselves before the high pressure situation? Or are they thoughts that kind of eat at us, create a little stress, create a little anxiousness before the big game? And this is where the goal, where this thought audit of confidence versus composure, and I don't really know why I call it confidence versus composure, but because I want us to think about real confidence and composure. And then I want to see that versus just the surface level talk, the surface level thoughts that we have before our big performance. Just like this wrestler that I was talking about, saying they feel calm pre-match, but when you can see it, and see them out there, they're not calm. So hopefully we can use this thought audit of confidence and composure versus the surface level talk to really excel ourselves up and handle the pressure and really do be confident and composed by looking and thinking, what are we actually thinking before the game, and getting ourselves unconsciously, right? All those thoughts that we're not really thinking about but are still happening, getting ourselves ready, strengthened, trained to just flip that switch the slightest bit and level up our game. All in all, I want to make sure that we recap these little pieces here, and I'm not going to go in depth at all, but I want to make sure we just know them, that confidence is not just what we say. It's not just what we tell ourselves. It's not just acting confident. It is what our actions, our thoughts, our emotions reveal, even the ones that we don't think about. So today, couple different things that we broke down was the mirror check for those external alignments to make sure that brain 1, brain 2 are working together. We have the confidence audit for those situation clarity aspects, so then we can check and see how confident are we actually going into some situations, and making sure we have that clear, crystal clear path, which ties into our clarity map of really defining those roles and goals so we know what we're reaching towards. And then lastly, looking back of what our actual surface and subsurface beliefs and thoughts are when that pressure is coming, when we're supposed to perform under the big stage, which with that just overall thought audit. But when we identify these hidden barriers, we are one step closer to building unstoppable confidence. Now, usually I like us to check out the Athlete's Health or the Fernoic Gym Art Performance Institute, breaking down these mental strategies. Check out the weekly newsletter where we're giving away an exercise and action steps for it every week. But I also want to make sure that we cover a few more pieces here, so stay tuned. I want us to make sure we share the show. If you found a value out of it, share it with someone. Give it that 5-star review on Apple or Spotify. And lastly, if you listen this long, comment below, send me a text through my number down in the description of here, send me an email, reach out to on the website. But let me know you listened to this episode and you want the mental performance audio rep series. Just say rep series or audio series. Reach out to me about that. I will get you the links, because you supporters of the TAH Titans, I'm loving it so far as we keep climbing the ladder to success and climbing our own mountains. My name is Gabe Rummel. I will catch you next week on our Mental Performance Playbook. Peace.